Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm coping with 4 children. It's a question I get asked quite a lot, not just on YouTube, but people are just curious and just ask me how things are going now that I've got 4. When we were thinking about having our 4th baby, it's something I became really interested in. I did a lot of searching on YouTube and reading blogs from larger families. Marnie's down here chatting away in case you're wondering what the noise is. I follow quite a lot of mums of large families on YouTube and on Instagram, and I've always been fascinated with how their life works, like how they manage everything, how they cope, what their tips are, what they find difficult. I just find it fascinating, and that was before I even had 3 children myself. Now I have 4 and I still find it fascinating. So I thought I would just share what I feel has worked well for us so far, what I am coping with, what I find difficult. Yeah, and just have a little bit of a chat about it because people do, I know I was interested, so I guess other people are too. I hope so, otherwise this could be a really boring video. So rewinding 5 and a bit months, Marnie was born at the end of June. She was only 4 weeks old when school broke up for summer, and I went from having to adjust to life as a mum of a newborn again to having all 4 of them at home with me every day, and Dan being in work, he works quite long hours. I wouldn't say I was dreading it, because also it was quite nice to not have the school run chaos every morning with a newborn in tow. I think actually I was looking forward to having just nowhere particular to go for 6 weeks and nowhere to have to be. But it was quite daunting to think, right, how am I gonna keep them entertained, be fair to them and be able to go out and do things and them have fun, but have a newborn with me. And I'm pleased to say I was actually pleasantly surprised with how it went. What I found with baby number 3, Aiden, and Marnie so far is that they just slot into everyday life. Life is so chaotic and bananas with 3 children anyway. And Marnie has she's just thoroughly entertained by what's going on around her. I think she can't quite believe her eyes at how busy everything is and just sits there and just watches everything. So she's entertained just by being in the middle of normal family life. The big thing for me with the summer holidays was being nervous to take them all out on my own, but I'm the kind of person that if I overthink something, then I'm just not gonna do it, so I just jump into it. So I would just go, I would get up, get dressed, get everybody ready, get Marnie sorted, pack the nappy bag, and I would just leave the house. And that was a really big thing for me. And once I was out and about with them all, everything was fine. It was just that initial, oh my God, I've got to get 4 kids ready for the day and out the door. But once I'm out, it's fine, I'm out. So once we got through the summer holidays, I felt like Superwoman and I could do anything. And that, obviously Marnie was still only 10 weeks old by that point. I'd got through 6 weeks of pretty much on my own with some help. Dan had a couple of days off here and there. My mum helped out on the odd day as well. So that was brilliant and that really did help. But the majority of it, I did it on my own and it was fine. We all survived. Everyone had a good time. The thing I found most difficult about the summer holidays though was lack of routine, and I think that is how I cope on a day-to-day basis. One thing I would say that makes it easier in our specific scenario is the age gaps that I have between my children. Obviously I have 2 much older children. I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, and then Aiden is 4 and Marnie is 5 months. That I would say has made a massive difference. They are so helpful and so willing to help. They want to be involved. They want to cuddle Marnie and look after her for me while I make dinner. And I think it would be that much harder again if they were younger. So I'm lucky in the sense that I have 2 that are that bit older and a little bit more independent. They can get themselves dressed for school in the morning, pack their own bags, although they don't, but they could if I wanted them to. One thing I've learned the hard way since having 4 children is to lower my expectations. It's so easy to get swept up in keeping all those plates spinning, and something's got to give. You should see the state of my washing pile and the kids' bedroom behind this camera. Things slip and that's okay. I have realised that I can't do everything. I try and do my best, I try and get it all done, but if something doesn't get done, it's not the end of the world, and I try not to beat myself up about that too much. But it's not all smooth sailing. There are days where I go to bed and I feel like the worst mum in the world, like I haven't given them the attention that they need. And that is by far the hardest thing for me, is feeling like I'm not 100% available to each of them individually. And I'm not sure what the answer to that even is. Like, my husband will always tell me, you know, you're here, you're with them when they come home from school, which is amazing. And there was a time when that wasn't the case. I was working till quite late in the evening and getting home when Dylan and Marion were just about to go to bed. So now I am at home and I'm really grateful for that, and they can come and ask me a question or come and talk to me whenever they want to after school. And yes, sometimes I might be preoccupied making dinner or feeding the baby, who's currently pulling my hair, but I'm here. So yeah, I mean, it's the mum guilt, isn't it? There's mum guilt surrounding almost every element of being a mum possible. So even though that's something that I probably find the hardest about having 4, making sure that they all have equal attention from me, I try not to dwell on it too much, because I think it's wasted energy, it's wasted time, and that in itself is detracting from time that I could be spending with them, or thinking about things that I could do with them or for them. So yeah, it's hard splitting yourself 4 ways, but they get to grow up with brothers and sisters around them, which is something I didn't have. My sister's a lot older than me, so by the time I was 6 or maybe even 5, she wasn't living at home anymore. So I grew up from that age on my own with no brother or sister there. So it's something I always wanted for my children. I love that they've got each other, even though they drive each other insane sometimes. They are genuinely the best of friends. Another thing people often ask about is sibling jealousy, and how Aiden particularly reacted to Marnie coming along, and how Dylan and Marion reacted when Aiden was born. I can honestly say that I haven't experienced any sibling jealousy or problems in that way, certainly not with Aiden or Marnie. The most difficult transition was definitely Dylan adapting to Marion coming along, because he was so young and he wasn't massively keen on her for a while. It definitely took him a while to get used to having her around, but they are so close in age and so close as brother and sister now. That difficult period didn't last much longer than maybe 18 months, 2 years at the most, and now they are friends for life. When Aiden came along, I couldn't have been more thrilled with the way Dylan and Marion reacted to him. They adored him from day one and still do, even when he drives them bonkers, which he does on a daily basis. They absolutely were besotted with him, and they've been the same with Marnie, and so has Aiden, which is a big relief, because Aiden has been the baby for 4 years and has been pretty spoilt with it, really. He gets a lot of fuss and attention from the whole family. He is exceptionally cute and he knows it, and he knows how to use that to his advantage. So I was slightly concerned that it might put his nose out of joint a little bit, but he completely amazed me with how he adapted to being a big brother and to having a baby sister in his life. He got slightly more mischievous over the summer, I would say, and we had to rein him in a little bit, but that didn't last long. He seems to be that seems to have passed now, and he seems to be back to his normal self. So yeah, I've been really lucky, I feel, with how they've all adapted to each other, and I'm really thankful for that. I'm aware that this has been really rambly, and I hope it's been of some interest. If there's anything specific that I haven't talked about that you would like to know, then do let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll do a Q&A on having 4 kids and being a big family and what works for us, because I know it's something I found fascinating and still do. So if you'd like that, let me know in the comments below and I can definitely film that. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Marnie has just fallen asleep on my lap and my arm is going to sleep, so I better go and transfer her into a cot before I get pins and needles. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!